Hello, my name is Austin, and today I want to talk about online proctoring services. Online proctoring services have grown throughout the pandemic and are here to stay probably for the remaining future. I think one of the big issues occurring right now in this space is they're trying to figure out how to deter cheating, but at the same time, for students with disabilities, it presents issues where there's a reliance on algorithmic monitoring services, looking at the video, trying to sense if a student is talking to someone or if there's anything suspicious going on in terms of head movements and stuff like that. And that leaves students with disabilities to be more likely to be flagged and have their video pointed out, to professors as possible cheating, which is really unfortunate. And I think in addition to that, it's just really difficult in a remote setting where you're not in person to really prevent cheating and create a fully secure environment is very difficult to do. And I also feel like the problem that you enter in with a lot of these vendors and how it's being conducted, it's all with cameras and recording, and it can really increase the anxiety. So students who have anxiety really skyrocket their anxiety and know that they're being recorded and everything is on tape can be very difficult. And it also raises privacy concerns as well of what's going on after the recording. Is it being destroyed or kept safe? So I think those are all issues that it really opens up. And I'm not sure how much good it really does in comparison to if the professor were to consider maybe adopting more projects or group work or just other maybe open book assignments where you have a set time for the assignment, but it's open book and open note, because those type of things probably will still let students who have mastered the subject show their mastery and still be fair for capturing the grades and stuff. I think my big concern that I see from just general students would be that some students may be trying more complex ways to skirt the system, and the fact that you're showing your area to the proctor or to the video, they can always be trying to hide things or push boundaries, and it's very difficult to know it's fully secure, I feel like, unless you're in person. Currently, right now, an EDUCAUSE poll shows that roughly 50%, a little bit over actually, of universities and colleges are considering are using vendors like ProctorU or Proctorio or other remote proctoring services, with another roughly 25% of colleges and universities, they are considering purchasing these services in the future. So I'm just kind of think it's an interesting space to watch. I feel like from my own experiences when I proctored exams also through Zoom, I've had students have to ask for things like, suddenly you hear some noises and a student is playing, the student's brother or sister is playing music loud or something like that, and they need to ask to turn it down. And those are the type of things that can be flagged. So I think that that's really important to keep in mind. And those things can happen just naturally through the course of an exam, because a house really isn't secure and isn't the same as taking it in a private testing room. I also want to point out a development for ProctorU. ProctorU had a tier plan that was entirely AI based, where the AI would sense if there was any discrepancy and flag it for the professor to review. They determined that professors were not reviewing the video. In fact, an Iowa poll showed roughly around 15% of professors were reviewing, and I think only 10% from ProctorU's own polling determined that faculty were reviewing the algorithmic flagging of the videos, which shows that there needs to be a human actually checking the video to see if there was cheating or not. So moving forward, ProctorU is changing their plan and requiring colleges and universities to purchase a plan that has a human reviewer checking the video, because you don't want to flag, for example, a student with a disability if they're taking a break or doing or just a noise or whatever. You want to really investigate and know what's happening before accusing someone of cheating like that. In addition, Dartmouth Medical School dropped a bunch of charges against cheating for their medical students because it was during the pandemic and they were using Canvas as their LMS to try and catch students going out of the browser. But they determined that Canvas actually sometimes had internal processes that were leading to the flagging, and it wasn't really the student leaving the browser. Again, this just kind of shows how the tech is not fully developed yet, and there needs to be more testing and vetting to make sure that it's accurate before you start to accuse a student of going out of the browser and looking up stuff or something like that. One other piece of software that I think is kind of interesting that I will link in the description is called the Safe Exam Browser, and that's one where you can lock the entire computer to a specific application or web page. And I feel like that is very useful when you're back in person to be using something like that. So there's nothing tempting the student to go to a different website or to open up, applications that they're not supposed to be using. So my overall conclusion is for professors to adopt more open book and open note exams, projects, essays for remote learning, and to rely a lot less on closed book, closed note exams, because it's very hard to ensure that that's the case. Even if the professor is Zoom proctoring and you're having it be on Zoom and they're watching them live, it's still hard to know and to enforce. So I feel like until we have in-person classes, or until you're really teaching in person, I recommend, relying on other methods that are more open personally. But please let me know your thoughts about this topic and join me in the next video.